All right, everyone. So, welcome to our first lab. And the reason why I'm making this lab is because I have a minor ability to do some coding that's come in very handy in my world as a psychologist. And I just want to tell you a little bit about where this ability to code came from because I wasn't born with it. My first coding experience that really mattered was my Xbox broke. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's how old I am. Xbox One, it broke. And I had to fix it. And part of fixing it required me, well, when I was looking into fixing it, I was like, oh, I can easily change that part out. That's no big deal. And then I looked, they were like, oh, you can put, DVD-R, a DVD recorder in there. And I was like, oh, how do you do that? And they're like, oh, you got to add a few lines of code. And my Xbox breaking and adding those few lines of code created a journey that made me not great at any language in coding, but okay at every single language in coding. I have coded in Python a little bit. I've coded in JavaScript a little bit. I have coded in R quite a lot. That's my stats programming. But I want you to realize that every step of the way is a challenge. Every step of the way is difficult until it works, and then it's a nice shot of dopamine that feels great. So you're gonna hear me make happy noises because those are literal happy moments. You're gonna see me struggle, and I'm not gonna make my videos perfect. Some of them will get out of hand and I'll redo them, but this is the first time I'm shooting this video. Now, you're like, great. Well, what's the goal? What's the purpose? The purpose is we can create experiments online that are better than things we can do in person. With the tools that exist currently, we can create basically a virtual world that can do all sorts of tests, conservation of materials like Piaget stuff. You can do that online. Reaction time stuff. You can't do that without a computer. Little video games that are like little worlds to themselves that allow you to examine behavior in the virtual world. Oh yeah, you can do that. Online experiments, which is very important now that we can't do stuff in person. So the skills I'm going to show you, I'm not the best at. I am better than you, maybe. If not, I apologize. But if you're better at me than coding, then I'm going to show you the tools I use, and then you can just go and run with it, and maybe I could use you in my lab, okay? But ultimately, I just want to help those of us that have very little to no coding experience enter into the modern world of psychology, which is going to be necessary if you find yourself at Regis and want to compete with the bigger schools that have more money, that have the ability to run these large studies. Well, with these skills, eventually, you'll be able to put your studies online and do what I do, run 200 people in a day and call your study done. That's how I actually do my research these days. I spend more time coding than I do collecting experiments. So, you know what? It's time that we quit being scared of coding. And I'm telling you, I started with no knowledge. Nothing. And it's been a lot. There's a lot of frustration. What you got to do is just learn to channel that frustration and not take it personal. It's not you. It's just coding is kind of hard. But if you keep at it, you're going to get better. I'll tell you that from personal experience. But I'm not great at all. And what I've chosen for us is to use this very useful tool that's called JavaScript. But we're going to use one specific library called JsPsych, which is a psych-specific program. So let's go there. JsPsych. So here's the web page, and whenever I notice anything for coding, the first thing I do is I look at the tutorials because I'm not good enough to just read the library, which is what really good coders do to figure out functions and stuff. If that's you, please go ahead of me and start figuring out this library. But if you're like me and you have no experience in coding, or you have an okay experience coding, or moderate amount of experience coding, just follow along. That's all you have to do in this lab. We have 3 hours every week to work on our coding. All of our coding will take place in the lab. I do not believe in lab homework, so I'm here to help you through this process. Clearly, this is a recording of me. The real me is on the other end, there to help you with any struggles you have. So, the basic tutorial, hello world. Welcome to sort of a history thing. I don't know when it started, but basically every program I've ever learned starts you off with the hello world activity. And the hello world activity is, can you get the program to open on your computer and show the words hello world? And seriously, everybody should be able to do this today and with this specific program. So this is not going to be too bad. So it says, even here, you can read it. In the long tradition of hello world examples, this tutorial creates an experiment that outputs the phrase hello world to a browser. Though useless as an actual experiment, the process is helpful for learning the basics of using the JsPsych library. This tutorial will assume that you know very little about how to set up a web page. So this is assuming that you know nothing. Isn't that wonderful? And even more, why do we do the hello world thing? Because if you can't get hello world to work, you got problems in your installation. So you got to fix those before you try to do something more complicated. Okay? So download the JsPsych library. So we are using JavaScript. Inside JavaScript are libraries, which are just files with functions in them. And you just call these functions to be used. Well, you don't have to worry about any of that, but we need to download the library so we can use it in our JavaScript. So let's just do what it tells us. The most recent version can be found on the GitHub releases page. If you've never seen GitHub before, do not worry, okay? Essentially, you're like, what do I do? Oh no, what do I do, right? It's a good question. What do? We have to download the program. So first things first, I'm going to click on this one right here. And then I always struggle with oh, you know what? It's so easy. I always struggle with GitHub. It always confuses me, but I'm going to click on this. Let me see here. Oh, there it is at the bottom. See, I always, even I struggle with this stuff and I do it. And I don't know why I struggle with it. So if you know, let me know. But essentially, you got some options here, and I'm just going to download this JsPsych zip file. Okay, I'm going to click it. And you see it's downloading. You need to know where your computer downloads programs. You could save link as. You could save it somewhere. I know mine. I'm going to show in my Finder. I do use a Mac. I understand that not everything I do is going to be perfectly translatable to a PC. I quit using PCs, Windows specifically. I just don't like the operating system anymore. I used to use it exclusively. It was my go-to up until I started my job here, actually. 2 years into my job, they released Windows 8, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. But anyways, you're going to get a zip file. You're going to be able to handle this. Once we get everything installed, after today, it's all going to be the same for us. So if we have problems here, I'll help you solve them, okay? But right now, I got this zip file, and I have to unzip it. I just unzip it by double-clicking it, and you can see right there that it's now opened up JsPsych for me. And you can see I've downloaded this 3 times now. And what did I just download? The library. This is everything. There are examples in there. This is going to come in handy. There's the JavaScript JsPsych. That if you open it up, you'll see all the functions in JsPsych. You have plugins. The way this program works is like these little plugins are like little experimental components. You can look at them. Oh, audio keyboard response, audio slider, call function. Some of these I don't know what they do. But the great thing is we got examples. We can open them up and we can run and we can play. And that's the thing that I don't think people understand. This isn't about being productive. This is about being creative. And so we're going to be fun and creative today. But what I have to do here is I've just downloaded and unzipped this file. I'm going to leave it right here. And I'm going to tell you the steps. There's some steps I'm going to skip because I've already done it. Okay? So that's my downloads file. I want to go back to the tutorial. So I've just done step 1 of the tutorial. I did that. Note the image below. And look, I should have looked at the image. Look at this. It's like go download here, right? It's one of those days. One of those days. You can laugh at me. It's fine. Create a folder to store your experimental files. And so where are you going to create that folder? For me, this is my folder that I'm going to store experimental files. I've done this before. This is my actual research. I'm going to keep my actual research out from, I actually use this program. So I'm going to keep my actual research out of this class for right. I mean, not the examples, but the coding that I do for this class, I want to keep separate from my actual research. Okay. So now create a folder to store your experimental files. I created mine there. Once you've created the folder, open the downloaded archive from step 1 and move the extracted folder, JsPsych, theirs is a different number than ours, into the experimental folder. So here, if you check out my JsPsych, you will see weird things. I don't know what's going on. That just looked weird to me. You'll see that I have a JsPsych 6.1 folder in here. That's everything I just showed you. Plugins, examples is your friend, all that. I need to put that in my folder. I have other things in here because I was working on this earlier. Yours will just have this JsPsych folder in there. No big deal, right? Create a new XML file. Okay. So we have two choices, Atom or VS Code. I personally use a program called Sublime Text. I find Sublime Text to be just superior, but we're going to go with VS Code for today and see how this works. Download for Mac, stable build. I'm just going to click that, see what happens. It's going to start to download, and it downloads in super fast. For me, I have a very fast connection. It might be slower for you, and that's okay. We have 3 hours. You'll see the video is nowhere near 3 hours long. You're going to be fine. Relax. Maybe check your email. So now I'm just going to go back, showing the Finder. It's going to take me to my downloads. Double click. For me, it's going to extract the program. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in my applications. And this was Visual Studio Code. So now I'm going to open this up. Yes, please. If you have some problems with permissions, you're going to have to Google permissions on your computer. All right. So start. It just looks kind of fun, right? It's like, what is this? All this is a text editor. So, Notepad and Word, you can use Notepad, but these text editors for coding colorize things to help us see our mistakes. So it is really important to use something like this. I'm going to start new file. And I just have an untitled file right here. So I was here. I just clicked start new file right there. I'm sure you can go file, new file, get the same thing. Select editor. Oh, what's it telling me? Text editor built in. Sure. This is a text editor. This is perfect. Okay, so I just created different images. I got rid of that welcome picture. Great. So I've downloaded, and now I have a text editor that I can type commands in that will create a web page that will create an experiment. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to create a web page that has JavaScript on it that will create an experiment. So great. I go back to my tutorial here. I don't care which text editor you use. If you want to give different ones a try, I'm probably going to start using Sublime Text eventually, but it's all the same. I'm going to use the same one you're using this time because the first time is so scary. And the thing that I always wish I had was I wish I had step-by-step instructions for how to do really simple things. There's a lot of coding videos out there, but a lot of them are very complicated. So once you've got the text editor that you like, create a new file in the experimental folder called experiment.html. Okay, so now I've got my untitled, but I want to save this as something. I want to save as. Do I want to save it there? No, I do not. I want to save it into my desktop. Specifically, I want to save it into JsPsych. And I just want to call it hello world.html. You can see I already have one. So I've saved this as helloworld.html. And, whoa, look at this. It tells me exactly where it's located. That's actually a very good feature. I like that. I'm starting to like this here. All right. So now I've got all that. And it says add the bare minimum HTML code to my text editor. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tile my windows. You can do this both in Windows and in Mac. So now here's where I'm going to go. It's like, okay, there's some basic code that nearly all HTML documents have in common. Here's a typical bare bones HTML document. Perfect. Let's copy and paste that over here. Perfect. And you can see what the text editor does. It makes everything pretty, and it shows me all these different spacings and all that stuff that's really important. Now so that's all I did. I said, I put it in there. Add the above code, the experimental HTML file, and save it. Okay. Did tell me to save it. Fine. File, save it, share it, no big deal. You don't want it to crash on you and lose all your work. So saving your work is important. But I'm going to tell you right now, any of you that have seen my office know I'm not the tidiest person in the world. But that's a story for another day. Now it says, okay, to use JsPsych, add a script tag to import the library. Now, I'm going to show you what they're talking about here. I'm going to go ahead, go to my Finder. I'm back on my desktop, right? What's the library that they want me to add? They want me to add this file. So I'm going to go open. I just want to open this JsPsych file so you can see this. This is the file that they want me to add, jspsych.js, jspsych.js. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no idea what's going on in all this code. I've never looked at it, but it's basically this is where our friend Josh DeLu, who made this program, took a lot of time and effort and did all this work for us. In fact, if you look, we talk about code in lines. This is a program that is 2,700 lines of code. That is hard work that somebody did for us to be able to do science. And now I want to point this out. Like, scientists are pretty generous people. We want other people to be able to do science. And some of us are greedy, and I don't like them. But most of us, like Josh, gave us all this time, gave us all this energy, gave us all this help so that we can just go in here and use his beautiful program that's all presented here to run our experiments. But you know what? Honestly, I have no idea what's going on there. I could probably look through it and figure some things out, but it's beyond me. I'm a psychologist. I'm not a perfect coder, you know? I got this reputation like I'm some great coder. Yeah, I'm a good coder for a psychologist. Out in the world, my skills are like that of a really good high school coder, okay? So, bye-bye. Right? But I'm going back to the tutorial. I want you to know what we were doing. And it's saying, okay. And and it's saying add this specific line right here to my JavaScript code. Perfect. No problem. Now I'm going to tell you something. There is a problem here. Their JavaScript version is 6.0.5. What's mine? Or their JsPsych version, excuse me. Mine is, if you look back, 6.1.0. So I'm going to go back to this code thing, right? It's saying source, find this JsPsych file in a folder that doesn't exist. This JsPsych 6.1.05 folder does not exist. Instead, we have 6.1.0. So now I'm just going to go back and change this to 6.1.0. So you're going to have to do that too. I just downloaded this, so we should all be the same. This is Wednesday before class starts. All right, so all we did is we said use this JavaScript program that Josh created for us. Thank you, Josh, and we will be happy. All right. You may also want to import the JsPsych style sheet, which applies a basic set of visual styles to the experiment to make it visually pleasing. This requires adding a link tag to the head section of the document. Okay, so visual style sheets, you can Google them and figure out what they are. I don't totally understand them. I just know that they make our experiments pretty. So now we can add, if we look, compare ours to their code, they're adding this link right here a link to this style sheet that does exist. That's a file that exists on our computer, but not 6.05, but 6.1.0. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to show you here 6.1.0 CCS. There's our style sheet. If you want to see what's in it, open with this new program I downloaded, and that's everything in this style sheet. I don't know. I know it's making it pretty, but if I want to understand CSS, I'm going to go here. I did recently buy a book on web programming that's going to help me understand these basic things, but I consider myself more an experimentalist hacker. I will do the bare minimum to make my experiment run, and eventually over time, I've gotten okay at coding. I'll keep getting better. So every day is, can I get a little bit better at coding? So I'm going to get rid of that. We've just added that file to where it needs to go. And then it says, use the JsPsych HTML response plugin to print a message. Now, this program works by plugins. So there's a lot of different plugins. This one's HTML keyboard response. So it's going to show words, allow you to press a button. It's going to record how long it takes you to press that button. Essentially, that's what's going on. In order to use that specific tool, the way Josh set up this program is that there are plugins, and you can create custom plugins. I've done it. But these plugins allow you to run a type of object. Like it could be a questionnaire object. It could be this simple show a word, press a button object. So all I have to do, again, is I'm going to add this one right here because this is our style code. We see that right here. I'm going to add in the code that links to the plugin. And you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what's in this plugin and not really explain it to you. So now we go back here, right? We go to our plugins and we are looking for the HTML keyboard response plugin. So let's go ahead, open with our friend Visual Studio Code here. And we can see that this is all the stuff for the plugin, all the code there, even more code going into this. But if you look, this is only 150 lines. These are easy to hack into, easy to change around. I'll definitely show you that throughout this semester. I'll show it to you once or twice, but it's also a really capable tool. There's a lot we can do without hacking into it. So it's just when you get a little, you got to do something specific, you're going to have to hack into these plugins, but it's not too hard. If you have patience. It is hard, actually. I don't mean to say it's not too hard. It requires some patience. Okay. So now we have all these files linked. Once the plugin is loaded, we can create an experiment using the plugin. To declare a trial that uses the HTML keyboard response plugin, we create a JavaScript object with the property type equal to HTML keyboard response. Then we can specify the other parameters of the plugin in the same object. So now we're looking here, right? Body, HTML. So it's going, this is where we ended. This is the end of our document. You can see I'm a little bit moved over there. So underneath the body, I'm going to just add this exact text. I'm going to, and one thing I want to show you. If you would have copied it from where I did, it wouldn't have pasted correctly in there. It wouldn't have affected, I don't think it would have impacted your program. It would have just annoyed you enough to be frustrating. So now I have everything's lined up like it should be, I think. That's kind of funny. It kind of pushed that in there. Let me see what happens if I... Commands the undoes stuff. Okay. All right, so it just kind of indented that. I'm going to leave that indented, right? So you can see the difference here. This is indented. If I want to de-indent it, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And do that. Don't know why it indented it, but that's okay. If I really cared, I could just copy the whole thing and change it. It's not going to impact anything. But you can see my stimulus. It says, what's going on here? Variable hello trial. So there's a variable called hello trial that we're going to add. So that's just naming this trial. It's called hello trial. It's a variable. It's going to change, and it's called hello trial. It's a keyboard response, and the stimulus is hello world. If you change the text in here, it's going to change what you show. So I'm kind of obsessed with Baby Yoda. So I'm going to just... this is just kind of my style. I have to personalize things. So instead of hello world, I'm going to write hello Baby Yoda in there. And we're still not done. Okay, but we've got a trial called hello trial that is a type HTML keyboard response, and there's a stimulus called hello Baby Yoda. But it's not being shown yet, and we're going to talk about that in the next step. Now we have the trial defined. We just need to tell JsPsych to run an experiment consisting of this trial. So this is a type of trial. You've defined it. Now we got to tell JsPsych to use it. This requires using the JsPsych init function and specifying the timeline parameter. Now, init means start the experiment. Timeline is a cool parameter in JsPsych that says run this first, run this second, run this third. And, we run experiments linearly, so it allows a lot of fun things to happen. So now you can see this, right? Compare my text, variable hello trial. It's all in there. That's all ended. End of script. Now I got this needs to go in between my variable and my script. And I didn't like the spacing on it, but now everything is the same. Go ahead and, now I really don't like the spacing. But everything is now the same as theirs. Everything's going to work. Once you've saved the file, so file, save. I'm saving this file over here. You should see hello world. If you save the file, open it in a browser. So open it with Google Chrome. Or you can try other browsers. I just prefer Google Chrome. You should see hello world printed on the screen. If you press a key on the keyboard, the text should disappear. All right. So I saved my hello world too. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go click into my JsPsych program. Oh, nope. I have too many things open right now, okay? Hello World 2. So you're going to see that my Google Chrome, there we go. Perfect, right? And if I hit enter, it reloads it, okay? But now if I hit a button, it goes away. Isn't that cool? So it worked. Here's one thing I want to show you in Google Chrome. View, developer tools. So it's a little weird with the split screen, but in here is your console, and it tells you everything that's happening, right? So it says the audio content was not allowed to start. I didn't have an audio contact, so I don't know what, that's some warning. You often see warnings like this. It doesn't mean that the program's broken. The program works just fine. It's just there's warnings in there. When you have a problem, this is where you're going to look. So View Developer Tools is going to be your best friend. View Developer Tools. All right. So that's your first. Congratulations. This is the first thing you coded. If you just wrote Hello World, though, you got to change it because, otherwise you just could have copied all their text. Here, hello, Baby Yoda. The cutest. I'm saving that. I hit Command Save, but just File Save if we want to be funny. Now watch. Here's the best part. I'm not touching the file. I just reload the browser. So when you make changes, you can just reload the browser and see it. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take out the quotation marks, hit Command Save, hit it right there. Look at that. Invalid or unexpected token. So what's it telling me there? And it highlights the very thing, and it's like, hey, it's saying like uncaught syntax error, invalid or unexpected token. So it's really saying, why did you end without, this is the invalid token, but it's like, this is where the problem exists. Baby Yoda is the cutest, right? So I wanted you to see that. And now I saved it. I hit Command Save, and now it's all good again. Here's another thing. You got the console, right? But you got elements. you got sources. So I open the sources. It's actually showing me all my files here. Now, future hackers of the world, this is a great way to hack a lot of stuff that's on the internet, right? Oh, somebody hides an image for you and wants you to like pay to see it. Well, guess what? You can go into this code right here, pull that image out. I guarantee it. But like all this fun stuff, elements, console. I'm still working on figuring this out. The JavaScript console is my favorite. You can even I'll show you how to use it throughout the year. But right now, we made an experiment. We're playing around with it, right? Isn't that kind of fun? Well, we didn't make an experiment, but we're getting the picture. Now, that is great. That is fun, and that is the tutorial for today. Let's play around some more. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my folder that has my JsPsych 6.10. Inside of here are examples. This is so fun. Okay, so I don't know what they do. I'm gonna choose some. So let me see here. Let's see if I open this animation up. Open with Visual Studio Text Editor. Now you got this here, and it looks like there's some picture stimuli, and there are some sequence repetitions. It's going to repeat 3 times. Now, I think I've played around with this. I think I might have changed this, maybe not, but ultimately, it's going to do 3 reps. Frame time is going to present this for 300 milliseconds each. And it's going to put the prompt, watch the faces on there, and it's creating a new paragraph somewhere. So that's HTML code right there. And that's okay. So let's just see what happens when I actually open this specific animation with my browser. What? Watch the faces. Isn't that fun, right? So all it did was like show faces. That's actually pretty useful. So it showed each face 3 times. I wonder if it did it in sequence or randomly. We'll learn some stuff like that. You can see the JsPsych init, timeline animation trial, variable animation trial. And it says jspsych.data.display data. And so there was no real data to record, but if you put that in all your programs, you're going to get data at the end. We'll learn more about data in next class, but right now, this is just about having fun. So I see some images here. Okay, I'm a little Baby Yoda crazy. You haven't seen The Mandalorian. You should go see. Okay, Baby Shark too. Okay, I'm gonna get Baby Shark. I'm gonna see if I can get a Baby Shark image. All right, let's get. Okay, this is perfect. Now I like this one better. All right, but I like this. I'm gonna save the image as, and I'm gonna get into my I'm gonna get into my desktop. Desktop, and I'm gonna get into my JsPsych folder. I'm gonna get into my examples folder where this image. So this is saying like, okay, wherever you ran that experiment from, find the image folder. Well, I ran that experiment from the examples, so I need to find the image folder in examples, which is what I just did, the IMG folder right there. And I'm gonna go say this has B Shark. Change the file names to be short, so it makes coding easier. But B Shark is Baby Shark, so I'm gonna save Baby Shark as a JPEG image. Do I have any other option? Okay, I'm gonna save it as a JPEG image. Baby Yoda. See which Baby Yoda image. Oh, that one's cute. I'm gonna choose this one right here. That's a pretty good one. Save image as, and I'm just gonna call him Baby Yoda. Save. And you're like, why is he doing this? I don't want to use these stimuli. These are not fun. I'm going to keep these 2 here, but then I'm going to go delete. I'm going to do this with Baby Yoda and Baby Shark because, like, I need a pick-me-up today, right? Isn't it fun to have some fun? And mostly what I'm doing right now is playing around. This is going to be your assignment today. It's going to be play around. I'm going to play around a little bit. Then I'm going to let you play around and tell me what you discovered. So have some fun today. Now, the one thing I'm really bad at, so we got bshark.jpg, got baby Yoda and baby shark. So image folder, baby Yoda.jpg, and image folder bshark. JPG should work. You can see that mine's JPEG. I'm gonna see if it'll open. bshark.jpg. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. I'll easily catch it. Right? Now, before I save it, I want to see them a lot. So number of sequence reps. Let's see each of those little cute guys 10 times, and frame time. Let's see what happens when I make it 50 milliseconds. And you know what? Let's do 20 repeats. This is going to be fun. If it works, it's going to be fun. Now, when I save it, I'm going to give it a new name. File, save as. Because I don't want to save over their examples. Baby. Okay? So I'm going to say that's the baby example. Now, let's see what happens here. I'm back here. You can see it right there. File, open with Google Chrome. The experiment failed to load. That's actually really helpful. Let me go view developer, JavaScript console, error file not found. So I'm betting bshark JPEG needs to be bshark JPEG. And I can see it down here. So that's how I figured it out. I always have to generally go look things up. Bshark baby Yoda.jpg. Image baby shark, so forth. Okay. Oh, and you can tell, look, it's telling me that file doesn't exist. I'm gonna save. I hit Command S on my computer. Command S. I think it's Control S on a Windows, but I have a Mac. So let's see if that fixed it. Come on. Oh wow. Oh wow. There's something horrible going on there. I'm gonna get rid of my console view developer JavaScript console. Go ahead and hit enter, and it's like. Okay, there's a little baby Yoda back there. So my baby Yoda image is really big, right? So that's no like fun. But let me see here. File like this. So it's in preview. Let me see if I can. So one of the things, it's like, okay, I want to like resize this. Rename, move to, duplicate. PDF. I know there's a way to resize this. Tools, adjust size. So I'm gonna make them smaller. Oh yeah, definitely gonna make them way smaller. So let's make them 200 by whatever that is. Click OK. Okay, that'll work better. File, save. Hopefully that now fixes my problem. That was just me. If you don't have preview on your computer, you could have used something else. But honestly, like, this isn't about following me right now. This is about playing. And so I'm going to see if this works. Oh, look at that. It's way too fast, though. So my frame rate is 50 milliseconds. I want to put it up to 100. Okay. Let's see if that makes it better. Oh, I didn't save it. Command S. Let's see if that makes it better. Okay, a little bit better. A little bit better. Okay. Watch the babies. And let me just put it for like 300 milliseconds, like they had it before. Oh, watch the babies. That's better. See, you're just playing around, having some fun, right? Like watching the babies, right? And that's just kind of fun. It's kind of cool. It tells me how long the trial was. So it took 12 seconds and 305 milliseconds for that to happen. But it's fun to play around with this stuff. You run it. They have these examples. Let's see what they do. I'm going to do another one here for us. And then I'm going to set you on your own. Oh, I wish you were here to help me choose. Which ones seem fun here? Oh, let's go with multi-choice select. So we're here. I'm not going to mess with anything yet. I'm going to go back to this multi-choice select, see what it does. Because if I don't see, here's the thing about coding. If you just try to look at the code and understand it, yeah, you're not going to know what's going on. Oh, I like vegetables. Well, those of you that know me know, I got to admit, it's a strongly disagree. I'm sorry. I like fruit. Those that know me know I love fruit. So, so it looks like there's, okay. So they showed it one way. Do I like fruit? Oh, now they're testing me. Now they're seeing if I'm a good participant, right? Here's one of the things, like, sometimes stuff doesn't show perfectly on screens. You got to be prepared for that. But I like vegetables. Oh, no, not really. Maybe, they're okay. I've been thinking about it, disagree a little bit. I still disagree, but do I like fruit? Strongly agree. Do I like fruit more than ice cream? Nope, not at all. And look, now we got data. So it's like, okay, response, vegetables, strongly. Look at this. You can see the data. It's a little ugly. I'm not going to lie. But for vegetables, I do not like. For fruit, I do. For, Q0, we'll have to see what's going on there. I disagreed, and I strongly agreed. This is actually super useful, y'all. This is like very useful. So prompt, we can play around with this. You could even probably add more examples if you want. But right now, I'm just going to make my own question. I am happy. I wonder what the name is. Okay, I'm just going to call it happy. Let's see what that does. I'm just going to change this first one instead of changing too much. And then coding is fun. Maybe I should ask it like a question. Oh, no, I am happy. I like coding. I'll just do what they do. Right? And I'm going to call this coding. I'm going to see what happens. Command S. I just saved it. Rerun it. Hey, look, I am happy. Yeah, actually I am. I'm very happy right now. This is fun. I like coding. Yeah, neutral on that one. I do and I don't, and I'm not going to lie about it, okay? I think it's useful. I think it's valuable. I like when it works. So, somewhat agree. Okay, I'll go somewhat agree. And then the same, I like vegetables question because, you know what? They keep me alive, so there's a little bit of participant, wavering, and I definitely like fruit. Fruit is great. Eating some cherries right now. All right? You can see, how long did it take me? What questions? Happy, strongly agree. Coding, somewhat agree. Question 0, question 1. I wonder where those are coming from. That's my only question right now. I wish I knew why. Oh, let me see. That doesn't, it doesn't have a name variable. So you see the difference here? There's no name variable. So let me just change one more thing. Because that would annoy me if I ran a study and I asked a questionnaire and I couldn't, let me get rid of that. I do not know why it just did that to me, but that's okay. Copy. Cool. I'm gonna see if this works. It might not. It might work. I'm just gonna do one, just to see if I can make it work. Command S. It might fail on us. Okay, I am happy. I'm not as happy as I was. I'm still doing. I'm now a little confused. So I gotta figure it out. Do I like coding? Yeah, I got it to work. Okay, I'll give it somewhat agree. All right, we'll see. I like vegetables. I like cucumbers. It's probably a fruit, but we'll see. And then of course I like my fruit still. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay. So now I can change this to veg. And by just adding that name variable, now I have data that's tagged. And I can change this to fruit. And you can see if I wanted to add more questions, I could just keep adding them right here and just add a lot of questions. Now, clearly, I think there's some room for making it look pretty and so forth. Ooh, something failed. What's it saying? Uncut syntax error. I totally. What did I? Oh, see how there's 2 commas there? That's no good. Oh, look at that. It's like you are a failure, Brian. You failed. But like, look, we all make those mistakes, right? But did you see what I did to find it? Right? So I went to the console and I just clicked that link and it shows me where the error is. Doesn't always do that. Some errors are harder to others. When I do real stuff, sometimes I have a very complicated code, but you know what? I'll take it. That was very helpful. Ooh, that didn't work. What's going on here? Go to the console. Let's see what I've messed up. Oh, I'm thinking I didn't save it. Command S. We'll see if I get it there. See, now we're back. Now we got it back. Let's go view developer JavaScript console. I am happy. Ooh, no, that was hard. That was tough. It worked. I don't know. It was a little frustrating. I think I'm going with disagree on that one. I like coding. Okay, buddy. Okay, you got me. It's after the bad times. If you just focus on the bad times, this is how you're going to feel. Hit continue. Do I like vegetables? Like my wife just came out here, so I'm going to write yes. Because she really likes vegetables, and she doesn't like the fact that I don't like vegetables. So, sorry. It's just kind of how it is. Oh, you can look. This one has more options, too. Look at that. So how did they do that? Page 2 options. Page 2 options. Look at that. Okay. Hit continue. And there we go. So I had some fun today, particularly with the Baby Yoda example. But I want you to go ahead and spend the next, we have so much time, okay? I want you to spend the next couple hours screwing around with this. Play around with it. Have fun. I will eventually tell you can stop, but like my job today is to make sure you're getting this work in, you're having fun, you're getting some experience. Because here's the thing. You ever hear, I've never looked it up in psychology, but that whole 10,000 hours thing, you got to spend 10,000 hours on a task before you get good at it. There's some truth in that. I'll look up the research on that. So I don't want you to interpret that as a psychological thing. I am just like you. I'm a person, and sometimes I read the internet too much. So, but here's the thing. You can do this. I believe in you. And once you start doing this, you can do really cool stuff. I'm not going to mess around with one more, but I'm going to see if there's one that's fun. What do we got here? I don't know what this close is. I'm kind of interested. RDK. I'm going to open RDK because, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on there. Oh, no. What? Oh, my. What? That was, okay. Like this one, oh, man. You can do that? I want to make, oh, no. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. That one's going to be fun. RDK is cool. I'm going to stop myself because you get to play now. Right? And that's genuine. I didn't know that was a random dot matrix. I kind of thought it was. It'd be something cool like that. But look, that's you can make that. You can go look at how that's made. You can probably change the colors. Have so much fun. Okay? Have some fun today. Get used to the program and put in your 2 hours of your 10,000 and go easy on yourself. And what do I want? What do I want from output? I want a paragraph that describes what you did. Just after you mess around with something, tell me what you did. Oh, I messed around with this example. I messed around with that example. And I want you to mess around with him. Go ahead, spend 20, 30 minutes on one example. If you really like one and want to play around with it and see what else you can do, start Googling things. Go have fun. Okay, today is about fun. It's not about any... Education has become way too serious, I think. It's all about productivity and grades and blah, 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 right? You're a human. Humans learn through play. Animals learn through play. Play exists in a wide spectrum of behavior because through play we learn. So play.